You too! Let me put my watch back on real quick while I talk to you about the brand new Apple Watch Ultra 2 weeks later. Now, a lot of you may be wondering if I have any regrets or buyer's remorse after 2 weeks. Now, we are at that point where if this watch wasn't working for me, I could return it. We are also at the point to where the honeymoon phase has weared off completely. I'm basically at the point to where I realized that I spent $799 plus tax on the Apple Watch Ultra. Really? So, are there any regrets? Let's get into it. Let's start here. The design and the wear, the fit. I've been wearing this for 2 weeks on my wrist, nonstop, every day in and day out. I've come to the conclusion that when it comes to bands and how to wear this watch, because a lot of people are worried about it wearing big or feeling big on your wrist. Number one, make sure that you're wearing your watch properly behind your wrist bone. I see a lot of people, even in these reviews from these big companies, the watch is like way up here. And then they're complaining about like when they're doing stuff that is getting in the way, like if I'm doing push-ups and stuff. Wear the watch properly behind your wrist bone. That's not an issue, and it also wears a lot slimmer. Another key tip for allowing this watch to not wear as big, the watch bands you choose. Now, the watch bands that come with it, like this one, really nice because it's really light. But as you can see, even on the stainless steel, the way this thing like pokes out at the top right here has this extra, it just makes the watch wear a lot bigger. Same thing with any of these sport bands like the Sport Loop, which is my favorite Apple Watch band that I love to wear on a daily, but it just has that poke out like this right here, that extra poke out right there. That will make your Apple Watch Ultra wear a lot bigger. But if you opt in for like this solo loop braided, and I'm assuming that the regular solo loop as well would wear a lot slimmer because it's just tailored in and tapered to your wrist size, your actual wrist size. So that works out a lot better. Same thing with something like maybe like aftermarket bands that just go like this. Now this one kind of bands out because this is really thick premium leather. So I don't know if I would go that route unless I was into that type of thing. My number one recommendation from Apple is this one, the Leather Link band. This is the golden brown color. It's no longer available on Apple's website, but luckily for you, I have a link down in the description below. If you love it, matter of fact, I'll put it on the watch right now so you can see it. So this is the braided solo loop. Let me remove that really quick. That's another thing. All Apple Watch bands are compatible with this Apple Watch Ultra, no matter the size. But I think ideally you would want to use the larger size ones. Booyah. All right, locked in. Let me slide this over. Put this across. Again, behind the wrist bone. Lay it in nice and smooth. Booyah. This right here is by far the best looking watch band out of all of the available Apple Watch bands, in my opinion, especially if you opt in to use this Wayfinder watch face, which is absolutely fire. I love it. 8 complications on this watch face. We'll talk a little bit more when I get into user experience, but I kind of just wanted to talk to you guys from the design perspective, what it was like wearing this smartwatch over the last 2 weeks and how I've chosen to wear it and how you can possibly wear it to kind of help with like some of those concerns that people have. It is a big watch. It is hefty. I think it's what, 61.3 grams? It's not the lightest watch. And you can make it a lot lighter by going for a different watch band. So this watch band right here is more of the premium. It's gonna have a little weight to it because it has the magnets. So on my everyday use, like when I'm just trying to keep it mellow, chill, and lightweight, and I'm not trying to swag on everybody with the Ultra, you know, because most people think that everyone who gets Apple products, they just trying to brag and swag. I don't understand that. I think there's a little bit more to it. Maybe some people might think like that, but like me personally, it's more or less the functionality, overall, just the communication within the system amongst my other devices that I use and like to use as far as Apple goes. But here we are, the Apple Watch Ultra. The design this year, especially since this is the first iteration of this smartwatch, the build quality that Apple brought to the forefront, up front, I mean, extremely durable sapphire crystal glass, a titanium body, the most rugged looking Apple Watch that we've seen to date, all kind of crazy safety features, tracking sensors, and the whole kit and caboodle is thrown into this watch. This is by far the most advanced Apple Watch that we've received to date. And it has a battery size to back it up and so forth. So many things to discuss, but I'll keep this review quite simple and more focused on my 2 weeks. Now, to add on to the wearability of this watch, I would be like capping if I didn't express that this watch has a weight to it and that you feel it on your wrist and you know that it's there. It's not a, how would you say it, inconvenience weight and wear, at least not to me personally, because I'm used to wearing bigger watches and I like that. And even my dad told me, like when he first wore it, he was like, whoa, but after the first day of wearing it, eventually, you know how things get, you know, you subconsciously just ignore certain things and it just becomes normal. That's typically what's probably gonna happen with this watch right here. If you feel like it wears big on the first day or two, get through those first couple of days and see. And then if it doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work for you. And that just is what it is. You can't make everything work no matter how bad or how much you want to. Because I will admit, this watch is very tempting to a lot of people and I understand why. Now, continuing on the topic of design and build quality, I think Apple did an extremely extraordinary job with this watch. Areas for improvements, I just think color offerings would have just really set it off. If we could have got like a more darker color, even if you wanted to play with a fun color as well as another option, I think it would have been great. Now, obviously this is the first time that they've released this watch, so they have to test the waters and see. And depending on the popularity, I feel like if it did well on the second build of this watch, we could see colors. Right, Tim Apple? Right. Now, a lot of you are gonna notice right off bat when looking at this device, this display. This panel, this OLED, this beauty, this brightness, this clarity. I mean, it's pixel dense, it's Apple quality, it's beautiful. And to be real with you, the best thing about this display is the notifications and how big your information shows up, especially like messages, anything with photos or video that'll play on this screen. It's very much the experience that we've come to know and love on our iPhones. It's just shrunk down to a more compact and convenient size and placed on your wrist. So navigating this device on a daily, interacting with all of your notifications, replying to text messages and doing things like that, it just all comes together in a very well packaged setup. So let me go to the messages really quick. Hold on, you know, gotta make sure. So look how crisp these text messages are, how easy they are to read, and how even easier it is to reply. Super easy, super quick to swipe text. I messed up on the first message, corrected on this one. Can I unsend that? Oh, I can't. That would have been dope if I would have been able to do that. Okay, so I just want to stress how fire and how great this OLED panel is on here. Those 2000 nits of peak brightness really do add to the overall experience and clarity. Very reminiscent of the experience that we're getting on the iPhone 14 Pro Max right here on this OLED panel with how clear it is in low light situations, just due to the extra brightness and also the pixel density and so forth. That user experience carries over right into this Apple Watch Ultra. So I can't harp on anymore about this display. I've told you guys 1,000 times, I love it. Okay, let's get the next topic of discussion out the way, and that's performance. If you're worried about speed or performance on any Apple Watch, then you've probably never owned or used an Apple Watch. They're all consistent, they're all strong, and the same continues here on the Watch Ultra. It's the typical Apple Watch experience as far as the UI goes, the speed, the smoothness, and so on. It's the smartwatch experience that has made the Apple Watch the #1 selling smartwatch. So that continues here with the Apple Watch Ultra. You don't have to worry about performance. Now, another side of performance, which is the big topic to discuss with this Apple Watch Ultra, and that's battery life. Let's talk about it. As you guys can see, I'm at 47% of battery remaining. I'm well into my second day. And if I were to pull up the battery section, and if I were to go here, you can see it was last charged on Wednesday at 10:40 p.m. Today is Friday, and it is 11:34 a.m. So as you can see, I'm well into my second day. I got 47% of battery, and this is just from the typical everyday user's perspective. I'm not the triathlon athlete or anything by far. I just use my smartwatch mainly for notification and as an extension and sidekick to my iPhone 14 Pro Max. So that's how I use this thing. It's very convenient. A light workout as far as a walk here and there, but I'm not nearly as active as I want to be right now in this current state because it's grind mode, it's hustle mode. But what I do love from an activity and health perspective is the encouragement I get from this Apple Watch. I'll talk a little bit more of that in user experience, but you know, the stand reminder that'll remind me when I'm sitting too long and I'm in here in the studio grinding. So that's a lot of what my usage has been. Is just a typical user who just wants a bigger, clearer, beautiful, brighter display. And it's flat, so it does make a difference. Everyone's saying that it's only so much bigger than the previous models. The flat display makes a huge difference in comparison to this curved roll-off display. Just kind of speaks to the reality that flat displays are possibly a lot better than the curved ones. A lot. I am enjoying handling my notifications, replying to my messages, even controlling a lot of my smart home things and so forth like that, which I'll do a video down the road on smart home tech that I actually use, and I'll show you guys that. But let me check this notification. See, we get them notifications, we can see what's going on. You know, you got to keep an eye on things. Being able to handle the majority of the things that I like to do here is my biggest draw on the battery, which is everything. And that's the user experience I've been doing. And the battery life has been extremely solid. As I said, it's the 2.5-day battery for me. Another topic to speak on are these speakers and this microphone quality. Amazing. Bravo. Now, every Apple Watch previous to this Ultra has been great as far as phone quality. But I will say this, the Ultra does it a bit better. And it's very clear and apparent if you call someone on this device or if you answer your phone on this device, you can handle your phone call as usual. Another way I can not reach for this iPhone 14 Pro Max, and I can reach just to my wrist and handle business. So I've taken a ton of phone calls here. I've never had any complaints about quality. I've never had anyone say, yo, why you sound different and so forth. Everything has been just as smooth as if I had answered this phone call with my 14 Pro Max. That just adds to that overall user experience. That just adds to the smartwatch experience that me, the smartwatch guru, and you, the smartwatch consumer, appreciates. Now that brings me into our next topic, which is the most important topic overall when it comes to buying these expensive smart devices, and that's user experience. Now, my user experience, if you haven't been able to feel, I've kind of updated you in each, topic that we've spoken on as far as to how that topic has been for me user experience wise over these 2 weeks. And then at the end of this, I'll break down are there any regrets, how I really feel about the price point and things like that. A $799 product is an expensive product, very expensive. You can buy a lot of things that are probably more useful and more important to you than this Apple Watch Ultra. Let's be honest. But this isn't a question of where you should place your money and so forth. That's for you to decide, and make sure you do it responsibly. Be financially responsible in this world. For real. But when I spend to experience what's said to be an Apple Watch Ultra experience, did I get that? Do I feel like the Apple Watch Ultra delivered an Ultra user experience? Without a doubt. Let's be real, you guys. This thing has so many features packed into it, most of which I probably won't even get into and use, but they're there. We got a lot of safety features in here. You know what I mean? You got sirens, ways to communicate and send out, hey, I need help. You got ways to track your, path and trail to find yourself back when you go off on those trails that I don't know why you would go on a trail that's not a trail that's been walked and checked for safety, but that's why you get devices like this to help you have that added safety and security. For me personally, as someone who's just an everyday person doing everyday things, there are some of those safety features that could quite possibly come in handy if I ever needed them. So I'm glad that they're there. I'm really glad and appreciative to the health focus on here. As I told you, I'm just an everyday user. I work, I grind a lot. I'm in the studio, I'm editing long hours. Those health reminders telling me and encouraging me to close rings, encouraging me to reach my stand goal, encouraging me to take more steps, get up and move around. Hey, you've been sitting too long, things like that. That's important because that's health. Health is wealth. I don't care how much money you get, make, or can spend, health is wealth. And I love the emphasis of health in the Apple Watch Ultra, or just the Apple Watch in general in this, Watch OS and so forth. Now, yes, there's other smart devices that are way more keened in on health and way more focused, but that's not what this is. This is an all-in-one, all-encompassing device, and those added health and safety features are appreciated. I love interacting with this larger display. I love the nits of brightness. I love being able to use this outside as clear as day in direct sunlight without any issue. I love my experience on this OLED panel, which is beautiful. And it's flat. The flat panel matters. The same thing goes as far as the battery life. Not being tethered to a Apple Watch charger is everything. My biggest gripe with Apple Watches in the past would be mainly when I would travel. I get it. I'm a tech person. I got all of the devices that one could need to keep their devices going in a, powerful manner and keeping them charged. But who wants to carry all that, or who wants to have to worry about charging your device so much? If I'm going on a weekend trip and I accidentally forget my Apple charger, I might could make it with this Apple Watch Ultra. Or if I fall asleep while traveling and doing business and stuff, and I forget to charge my Apple Watch Ultra overnight, I can make it through the next day. That's the convenience that matters. Now, there's smartwatches out there, competitors, that can do that and do it well and do it even better. But that's not the focus. There's people who are in the Apple ecosystem who want an Apple product that can give them that, and this is the product that can do it. As I said in my previous videos, the Series 8 Apple Watch, battery life is really good. But the Apple Watch Ultra is better, as it should be. It's the Ultra. You're getting well beyond what Apple advertised in the up to 36 hours, but I understand why Apple did the up to 36 hours. There's a video on YouTube right now that's really dope about replacing their iPhone with just the Apple Watch Ultra, and they literally spent the day just using this specifically, turning off their phone, had it on LTE. They were very active. They were using all the navigation. They even were exercising, went for a run. They did so much, and they drained the Apple Watch Ultra battery. Can you believe that? In a day, within those workday hours. But the reality is, most of us, the majority of us who won't live such a, active, adventurous life, who will have their phones with them using, their phone connection, Bluetooth and so forth, who may not use the LTE, who may not do so much, but you may do a handful of those things or half of what he did, and you're going to make it through your day with confidence with this Apple Watch Ultra. And that's the huge difference from the previous Apple Watch or the other Apple Watches that you could buy. Now, I get it. The price is a huge pill for some people to swallow. Sounded crazy, but hey, bear with me. Stay focused, okay? $799 is a very expensive price. I agree. Some Apple Watch users wish that there were a cheaper version without the titanium. They want an aluminum version. Yes, I said aluminum. Understood. But you got to understand, this is the Apple Watch Ultra, and Apple had to set it apart. Apple also had to just be inclusive of what their focus audience were, their target audience, and understanding that the regular consumers will also want this. How can I target that ultra athletic adventurer, scuba diver, trail blazer, and so forth, as well as cover the normal customer base? You do it like this. So, are there any regrets for me personally as an everyday user, a normal user who isn't as adventurous, who may not take advantage of all of those extra features? Is it worth the $799 price tag plus tax? For me personally, absolutely. I must remind you, you have to hit the subscribe button along with the bell right next to it. Smash that subscribe button, smash the bell, because if you don't turn on the bell, it's not the same anymore. Hitting subscribe alone is not enough, and you can miss some of this ultra, brutally honest tech reviews. And who would want to do that? I know I wouldn't.